This is a discussion on the anatomy of the nervous system. So when we speak of the nervous system class, we would like to divide this into two divisions. First, you have the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. When we speak of the central nervous system, it actually refers to two major organs. No? You have your brain and you have your spinal cord. Then on the aspect of the peripheral nervous system, we would like to divide this class um, into motor and sensory. Your motor peripheral nervous system is otherwise known as your efferent, while your sensory nervous system is otherwise known as your afferent. Okay? So your motor and your sensory fibers of the peripheral nervous system actually interplace. No? And this begins with a stimulus. From the stimulus, in which case the stimulus is being sent to the brain for processing, and then it is sent to either our muscles for either voluntary or involuntary reaction. So for example, if the table is hot and I try to touch the table, the heat of the table is the stimulus, such that when I touch that, my touch receptors would collect this information and send it to the brain for the brain to process. So what nerve fiber is involved in sending these impulses, this heat being sent to the brain? Asa man na siya moagi? So it is through your sensory fibers or through your afferent fibers. So ang init, ma-interpret sa brain only if the sensory or afferent fibers will bring them to the brain. And then the brain would now process it, and the brain transmits its response to the muscles either voluntarily or involuntarily through our efferent or motor fibers. Meaning to say, an efferent function may either be voluntary or involuntary. In such a sense, ang voluntary class is what we call somatic response. And the involuntary is what we call as the autonomic nervous response. And when we say autonomic nervous system, this actually refers to your your sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. So this is important, class, that we know how to distinguish sympathetic versus parasympathetic, because this will help us in our study in pharmacology. Because so long as you know sympathetic and parasympathetic responses, you can enumerate side effects of a given medication by even 10 or 12 ka side effects, kaya na nimo siya ma-enumerate. So long as na-identify nimo kung unsa ang sympathetic, unsa pud ang parasympathetic nervous response. Now, to give you an idea, let's try to distinguish sympathetic nervous system versus parasympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is responsible for our fight or flight response. Meaning to say, siya ang i-activate, no? Whenever we are in a state of stress, whenever we are in a state of war. So it's the sympathetic nervous system. That's why it is given the name fight or flight hormone, no? Fight or flight reaction. On the other hand, ang imong peripheral nervous system is also known as the rest and digest response. So this is that branch of the autonomic nervous system which is activated when we are in a state of rest or when our body is in a digestive mode. Okay? So di ba kung busog ka, duka ka? Because that is the action of the peripheral nervous system. And the peripheral nervous system is also linked with the term cholinergic. So muhatag gani kag tambal nga naay cholinergic effect, it actually means tambal nga naay parasympathetic effect. So if the parasympathetic nervous system is cholinergic, then the sympathetic nervous system is anticholinergic. So meaning to say, anticholinergic medications like atropine sulfate has a sympathetic nervous system response. So now let's go to the different symptoms during a sympathetic response. So first, let's talk about your vital signs. Vital signs like your blood pressure, your heart rate, your respiratory rate, and your temperature. This could also affect your lungs and your pupils. This could also affect your GIT, your GUT, your salivation, okay, your uterus, or even the penis and the clitoris in the case of a female. Okay? So kani imuhang tanawon class because sympathetic or parasympathetic opposite man ang ilahang response, such that whenever there is a sympathetic nervous system response, what happens to your vital signs? Your vital signs will be increased. Okay? So muhatag gani ka, ma-stimulate gani ang sympathetic nervous system, automatic class imong vital signs mo saka. Di ba ang sympathetic nervous system is responsible for stress? So when you are stressed, your vital signs are also elevated. Imong BP, imong heart rate, imong respite, imong temperature, musaka na basta sympathetic nervous system response. So the opposite sa sympathetic, parasympathetic, muubos pud ang imuhang vital signs. What happens to the lungs when you are in a state of stress? They dilate. Not only the lungs class, also your pupils, such that lungs and pupils dilate in sympathetic response, while your lungs and pupils constrict on your parasympathetic response. Okay. Say for example, tambal nga salbutamol, o tanawa ang salbutamol. Unsa man ang epekto sa salbutamol? Di ba ang salbutamol dilates the lungs? So if it dilates the lungs, is it sympathetic or parasympathetic? Diba? The answer is, it is sympathetic. So if salbutamol dilates the lungs, then the response is sympathetic. Now, if I would ask you, can you name side effects of salbutamol? Tanawa ang heart rate, musaka. Tanawa ang respite, musaka. Tanawa ang temperature, musaka. Tanawa ang BP, musaka. Tanawa ang pupils, modilate. Nga naman. Because sympathetic man ang epekto sa imuhang salbutamol. Okay. What if you give the medication epinephrine? What happens to the heart rate when you give epinephrine? Di ba musaka? So unsa may effect niya sa imong BP? Saka, respite, saka, temperature, saka, lungs dilate, pupils dilate. So tan-awon ra nimo kung asa siya nga side. Is it on the sympa side or the parasympathetic side? And all of them comes together as a side effect of the medication. Okay? So what if sympathetic nervous system stimulation sa imuhang GIT? Unsa may epekto niya? Ubos pud ni siya diri tanan. Kaning naa sa ubos mo ubos. So ang GIT muhinay, constipation. GUT, urinary retention. Saliva, dryness. Uterus, relax. Penis, relax. So ang opposite ana para sympathetic pud ka. So when I ask you, unsa may makapautog sa luso? Is it sympathetic or parasympathetic? O, di ba? It's the parasympathetic because parautog is parasympathetic. Okay. Let's say medication like diuretics. So diuretics. Unsa man siya? Sympa para. Tanawa ko no ang table class. Is it on the sympa side or the parasympathetic side? Diuretics increases urination. So asa man mo increase ang urination? Sa sympa or sa para? Di ba sa para? Okay? So kung magsigi kag ihi, what happens to your vital signs? Muubos, especially imuhang blood pressure. That's why some patients with hypertension are prescribed with diuretics not because kinahanglan sila mangihi, but because the effect of pagsigig pangihi by reducing your blood volume or cardiac output causing a reduction in your blood pressure. So mauna kung muhatag ganitag diuretic, we are always warned to monitor the patient's blood pressure. If the BP is low, we suspend the giving of your diuretics. Okay? So tanawon ra na nimo ang table if it is on the sympa side or the parasympathetic side. So kung nagsigi ka og hatag og atropine sulfate for example, so asa ka nga side, dryness of the mouth. So that's sympathetic. So what will be the effect of your atropine sulfate on your vital signs? It causes increase in your vital signs. Okay? So class, this is the distinction between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, which is a branch of your autonomic nervous system. Now, let's discuss your brain. Okay? We're done with sympha versus parasympha. Let's go to the parts of the brain. When we speak of the brain class, it has 4 divisions. The first division of the brain is your cerebrum. When we speak of cerebrum, naa na siya 2 divisions po. Okay? And the first division is called as your white matter. And the next division is called your gray matter. So unsa may kalainan ana nila. The white matter of the cerebrum is responsible for allowing the 2 cerebral hemispheres to communicate with each other. If you remember in your anatomy class, nga ang utok na ana siya duha ka divisions, the right and the left. So do they function independently? The answer is no. The right and the left coordinates with each other. They communicate with each other. How? Through the white matter of the cerebrum. How about the gray matter of the cerebrum? Kaning gray matter of the cerebrum class, dinhi mo makita ang lobes of the brain. Okay? So what are the different lobes of the brain? Let's say number 1, your frontal lobe. Unsa may function sa frontal lobe? It is the seat of memory. Mao bitaw nang moingon sila nga kung dangas ka or dako kag agtang, bright tingali ka because you have a bigger storage for memory. Okay? So when we speak of memory, it is a memory about the past. Your past here is not past in its literal sense, but rather a mnemonic that I give you. Frontal is for the memory of the past. Unsa man ang past? Letter P. It stands for personality. So naa din ha makita sa imong frontal lobe ang personality sa usa ka tawo. A, ang imuhang attitude, attention, imong attention, no? Naa din ha ang imuhang attention. S, imuhang speech. This is the center of speech because in the frontal lobe dinha nimo makita ang imuhang Broca's area. So kung naa gani damage sa frontal lobe unya naigo ang Broca's area, then affected ang imuhang speech. And this kind of speech problem is what we call expressive aphasia. Ang expressive aphasia is one where you know what to say. You have the idea of what to say. Kay balo kag unsay imong isulti but you cannot just express it. So ikaw mo anak di ka kasulti. So Broca's area is affected. You have a complete understanding of what is told to you and what you want to reply or what you want to say. Kaso di ka kasulti, di ka kabuka sa imong baba. Nganong di ka kabuka, Broca, no, is affected. How about letter T? Letter T here represents your represents thinking. So the more the frontal lobe functions, the more you can think. Okay? So frontal lobe is more on the seat of our intelligence. Naa din ha ang atong seat of memory. So tanawa ko ninyong mga kaugalingon o dagko ba mong agtang. Kanang mga dagkong agtang bright na. Kanang mga gagmay-gagmay agtang bright food na. No, kamo na'y bahala. Okay? So there you have the frontal lobe as the first lobe of the gray matter of the cerebrum. So aside from the frontal lobe, you also have your temporal lobe. Okay? Everyone point to me your temporal lobe. Ere. So what can you touch? You can touch your ears because the temporal lobe is the site for processing of auditory stimuli. So siya ang mo help us, no, in order to process the message that is sent to us. In simple terms, ang temporal para makasabot ka. Di gani ka kasabot, pangutan na imong temporal lobe unsay kondisyon niya. Because on the temporal lobe, there is what we see, the Wernicke's area. Unsa man ang Wernicke's area? This is the part responsible for language comprehension. In simple terms, para kasabot ka. Okay? Wernicke's area is for language comprehension. Such that when you have a problem at the Wernicke's area, then gisultian na ka, mura kag walay reaction, but you know something is being said, but you do not know exactly what is being told of you. And we call this as your receptive aphasia. Okay? So ang expressive aphasia is di ka kabuka, broka. No, you cannot express what you want to say. No, you have heard the stimuli, you know what to say, but you cannot express it. Expressive aphasia. Receptive aphasia is there's a stimulus coming to you, but you do not understand what the stimulus are. You cannot understand written or verbal language. That's receptive aphasia. And when expressive aphasia comes together with receptive aphasia, mauna na atong gitawag na global aphasia. Okay? So when expressive aphasia comes together with receptive aphasia, we call it as global aphasia. Okay? Another lobe, you have your parietal lobe. It begins with letter P, parietal, because all functions of the parietal lobe begins with P. Unsa man? P, pain. P, pressure. P, proprioception. Okay? Unsa man ang proprioception? It allows us to know our present posture or position. Do you know you're seated right now? Do you know you are standing right now? Or do you know you are lying right now? Our sense of position and space, we call it as proprioception. And the last lobe of the gray matter of the cerebrum is your occipital lobe. Para unsa man ang occipital lobe, this is for vision. Maybe nanay mga nga slide sa CR na untog ang ilahang luyo sa ulo. Naaman din ang occipital sa luyo. So pagkabagok pak unsa man na black out, no? Nawagtang ilang pananaw. Ngano man na? Because of the effect to your occipital lobe. So class, these are the 4 lobes comprising your cerebrum. Another part of the brain, part number 2, is your diencephalon. Ang kanang diencephalon, that is the part where you see your hypothalamus, B, thalamus, C, epithalamus, and D, the pituitary gland. So there are 4 structures comprising your diencephalon. Hypothalamus. This is the center for appetite and the center for temperature. You will not forget that class because you know everyone here has had fever. Gilantan na tatanan. What do you notice kung gilantan ka? Di ba walay lami ikaon? Nga naman class. Because the center for temperature and the center for appetite falls on the same structure, the hypothalamus. Meaning kung gilantan ka, your hypothalamus might have been very busy in regulating your temperature nga nakalimot na siya nga trabaho pa din niya ang pag-control sa imuhang appetite. Okay? Your hypothalamus is also the center for thirst. So if you feel thirsty, no, that's because the hypothalamus works. It is also the center which makes you love a person. It is not the heart that makes you love. So it's a lie to tell somebody, I love you with all my heart. It's a lie. So you should have said, I love you with all my hypothalamus. Because that makes us love a person. Okay? And why is the heart made a symbol of love? Well, you should recall our discussions on the coronary artery. Tanawa to dito. Why is the heart made a symbol of love? Okay? Also, your hypothalamus makes us ladies and gentlemen. So siya ang responsible for puberty. No one menstruates when the hypothalamus does not allow it. And ang laki kung mag-masturbate, di sad na magawsan when the hypothalamus does not allow it because our wet dreams and our menarche, no? The indications of puberty are only made to happen when the hypothalamus allows us to do so. The next one, class, is your thalamus. The thalamus is involved in sending sensory impulses to your cerebral cortex. So mura lang na siya bridge. It sends the impulses to the cerebral cortex. At kung sa ganitong cerebral cortex na ay gray matter, na ay white matter. Ang gray matter na ay 4 lobes. Frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital. Okay? How about the epithalamus? The epithalamus is just like a casing. It's just like a container. No? It houses 2 important organs. What are the 2 important organs housed by the epithalamus? You have there the pineal body, and you have your choroid plexus. Ang pineal body is an endocrine organ which secretes the hormone melatonin. So, unsa ng melatonin? Pampakatulog. So, if di ka katulog, inom kag tambal nga melatonin. But do we really need melatonin? No, it's a naturally occurring hormone. It's a hormone secreted by the endocrine gland, the pineal body. It is in the diencephalon. How about the choroid plexus? The choroid plexus is the one which produces our cerebrospinal fluid. Okay? So, how does the CSF functions? Ang CSF class is responsible for cushioning the brain. It protects the brain against contusions or your concussions, the shaking of the brain. To illustrate, class, okay? If I have a container, metal container, and I put a marble on it, and I try to shake it, will the sound be very loud? Yes. If I put water in the container and I put marble on it, and I shake the container, will the sound be as loud? The answer is no. That is how exactly our cerebrospinal fluid protects the brain. It protects our brain against cushion. Now, your CSF, as it cushions the brain, is produced by the choroid plexus. Let's go to CSF first. Your cerebrospinal fluid class is produced or made by your choroid plexus. Okay? From the choroid plexus, around 500 to 700 ml of this CSF fluid is formed every day. However, not all of this 500 to 700 ml goes into the circulation. Asa man na siya nag-circulate? Dito sa subarachnoid space. Sa sulod sa imong subarachnoid space, dapat only 150 ml should stay on that region. Because when CSF fluid exceeds 150 ml, sobrara ang imong CSF fluid, then that could lead to conditions like hydrocephalus or increased intracranial pressure. Kanus aman mahimong hydrocephalus? Kanus aman mahimong increased intracranial pressure? Ang hydrocephalus pwede ra na siya mahitabo, class, when the sutures of the skull of a baby has not yet closed. Okay? So kung tan-awon na nimong skull sa bata, ang skull anak niya, let's say these are your frontal bones, frontal bone 1, frontal bone 2. They are joined together, pero naa na siya gap or space in the middle. This gap or space in the middle is mura na siya kanal. Mura siya pinahian, sinumpayan. That's why we call it as a suture. Unsa may function ani nga suture? These sutures allows it to overlap such that when you pass through the vagina, mugamay ang ulo sa bata, mo oblong, mo long and narrow. We call this condition as molding. So makakita kas bata nga murag ni taas ang iyahang ulo, normal di na siya, sir? Yes, you call it as molding. That's because these two bones may overlap against each other because of the pressure in the pelvis and vagina, making it overlap. Maayusan na siya kay mugamay ang ulo, di maglisod og utong ang mama. So that's one purpose of the suture. But more importantly, ang purpose of suture is muhatag siya allowance para mintras mudako ang utok, mudako pud ang skull sa bata. Okay? Because, class, in the first 2 years of life, kung naamang gani system nga pinakapaspas mo tubo or mo develop, it is the neurologic system. Because imagine, at the end of 2 years old, the size of the brain of a newborn is almost the same the size of that of an adult. So kung magdako ang utok, walay corresponding pagdako sa skull, maunsa man ang utok sa sulod, madugmok ang imong utok, makrush ang imong utok. And that condition is what we call craniosynostosis. Kana bitong imong suture nga imbes di pa mo sira, nisira na, that is craniosynostosis. Kinahanglan na siya is-surgery. Kay kung mudako ang utok without a corresponding increase in the size of the skull, madugmok ang imong utok sa kataas sa pressure. Okay? So now, you have learned that there is a suture that allows the skull to expand, okay, in order to accommodate. Now, kung musira na siya, class, dili na pwede mo dako imong ulo, wala na kay hydrocephalus. So, hydrocephalus is only possible when the child is less than 2 years old. But when a child is 2 years or older, kita karon, pwede pa ba ko mag-hydrocephalus? Dili na, because I'm more than 2 years old and my sutures have already been fixed. So unsa may counterpart sa hydrocephalus if you're more than 2 years old? This now becomes a condition called increased intracranial pressure. And when we say increased intracranial pressure, unsa may mga symptoms kay imong makita sa increased intracranial pressure, increased ICP. Number 1, taas ang BP. Number 2, ubos imong heart rate. Number 3, ubos imong respy. Number 4, taas imong temperature. Sir, di ko ka-memorize. Well, look at my hand. This is rock and roll. Why rock and roll sign? Taas, ubos, ubos, taas. Taas ang BP, ubos ang heart rate, ubos ang respy, taas ang temperature. So rock and roll. Hypertension, bradycardia, bradypnea, hyperthermia, rock and roll. What letter do you see? You see W, because W stands for widened pulse pressure. Pilay normal pulse pressure na to? 120 minus 80 is 40. So kung mataas ka sa 40, then that's a widened pulse pressure, a case of increased ICP. Now, the cerebrospinal fluid is produced by the choroid plexus daily at a rate of 500 to 700 ml. But then again, as I have mentioned, not all of these 500 to 700 ml goes into the circulation. Only 150 ml of which can proceed to the subarachnoid space. Asa man na siya dapita, sir? Okay. Kani imong utok, no? This is your brain. And the brain is protected by the skull. We all know that. Now, before the brain comes in contact with the skull, naa kay tulo ka layers of tissues that protects the brain. These tissues are a pad of protection. Naa kay pad, naa kay padding, naa kay pad. I am using the word pad because it is a mnemonic. P, pia. A, arachnoid. D, dura. So naa kay pia, arachnoid, dura. Naa kay pad of protection. Unsa maning tulo? Kaning tulo imuhang meninges. Nga kung makagawan ng imong meninges, then you will develop meningitis. And you know there is meningitis because of the manifestations, Brudzinski and your Kernig sign. And you should know that by now. Do not let me explain that now. Because you should know Brudzinski and Kernig sign as the sign of meningitis. A while ago, I was asking some students and it's frustrating. Wa kaila sa Brudzinski, wa kaila sa Kernigs. Okay? So I will leave that to you. As early as now, let me just help you in understanding that. Brudzinski B is for the batok or the neck. Kernigs is K, that's for the knee. O kamunay sumpay, ana. I will not give that to you because I've already discussed that. Now, if the CSF fluid is 500 to 700 ml, only 150 ml goes to the circulation because anything in excess is already an increase in intracranial pressure or hydrocephalus in the case of those less than 2 years old. Asa man makita ang CSF fluid, aray na diri makita ubos sa arachnoid space. Mao bitong gitawag nga subarachnoid kay ubos siya sa arachnoid. So pila raman dapat ang nagtuyok-tuyok diri nga CSF fluid? Only 150 ml. Okay? So asa man ang sobra, sir? If you produce 500, ngano 150 raman? Asa man sobra? Kisa may nag-ugom anang sobra? Gisuyop na sa imuhang arachnoid villi. Na kay mga silya din ha or mga arachnoid villi which absorbs the excess CSF fluid to ensure that only 150 ml remains there. Okay? So CSF is produced by the choroid plexus and it proceeds to the lateral ventricles. From the lateral ventricles, it goes to the foramen of Monro. From the foramen of Monro, it goes to the third ventricles. Then it goes to the aqueduct of Sylvius. Then it goes to the fourth ventricles. Then it goes to the foramen of Luschka and Magendie. Then from the foramen of Luschka and Magendie, you go to the subarachnoid space, otherwise known as your cisterna magna. So kung pangutanon mo, asa man gihimo ang CSF fluid? Sa ito ba? Choroid plexus. Asa man makita ang CSF fluid? Subarachnoid space. Other names sa subarachnoid space, cisterna magna. And this is a must memorize. I will ask this on your semifinals. I will ask this on the quiz. memorize your CSF pathway. Memorize it. No excuses. Memorize your CSF pathway. Bantay dili na ka memorize. Ha? Okay. Now, this is your CSF pathway from which CSF flows. Okay, asa ng CSF? Dito na asa ng choroid plexus. CSF gihimo sa choroid plexus. Asa na makita ang choroid plexus? Giputo sa epithalamus, one of your diencephalons. As to the pituitary gland, I will not discuss that again as that was already discussed in your endocrine anatomy. Just refer to those videos again. The pituitary gland, the anterior and the posterior pituitary, how do we distinguish them? The discussion is under the endocrine system anatomy. You can browse that. It's available on your Google Classroom. Okay? So, we are now done with two parts of the brain. The first part, you have the cerebrum. The second part, you have the diencephalon. How about the third part? The third part of the brain is the cerebellum. And dili na lesson memorization ha. Kay cerebellum, cereballan. Cerebellum, cereballan. Cerebellum, cereballan. So it is responsible for maintaining balance. Balance, otherwise known as equilibrium. And this is somehow unique because the cerebellum, no, on anatomy looks like a cauliflower. Okay? So there, you have the cerebellum, you have the diencephalon, you have the cerebrum. Okay? Let's now go to the fourth part of the brain. What is the fourth part of the brain? That is your brain stem. Okay? And on the brain stem is where you find the more important functions of the brain. Okay? Brain stem. So unsa may naa sa imong brain stem? Number one, you can see the pons there. So mayingon gani kag pons, it is responsible for the depth of respiration. Nangutana ko kung laom ang imong respiration, unsay tawag? Ang gitubag sa ako, takip niya, sus Ginoo ko. Your depth of respiration is either hyperventilation or hypoventilation. Okay? So the pons is responsible for the depth of respiration, hyperventilation or hypoventilation. Okay? So that's the pons. How about the medulla oblongata? The medulla oblongata is responsible for the rate of respiration. So you see the difference now. Kung pons is for hyper and hypoventilation, then your medulla oblongata is for your tachypnea and for your bradypnea. Okay? Aside from respiratory rate, it is also responsible for your heart rate. Okay? Siya ang responsible sa imuhang respiratory rate and also for your heart rate. Then your midbrain, okay? Unsay function sa imuhang midbrain. The midbrain is responsible for your respiratory, for your auditory and your visual reflex centers. So visual reflexes like your blinking reflex are controlled by your midbrain. Okay, so ang midbrain is responsible for your visual and auditory reflexes. Okay, and the last important portion of the brainstem class is your reticular formation. Nga naman, naa din ha sa reticular formation ang imuhang reticular activating system. The RAS or the reticular activating system is responsible for your sleep-wake cycle such that maigo gani na by as thrombus or madamage gani na imong reticular formation, di na gyud ka mo mata. Okay? Di na gyud ka mo mata. So comatose gyud ka because it is responsible for your sleep and wake cycles. Okay? So this is part 1 of our anatomy. We'll be back for cranial nerves, spinal nerves, the assessment of your cranial nerves, and the different portions innervated by these different spinal nerves.